Well, hey friends and neighbors, this is Chuck out at Sheridan Park Farms. Welcome back to the farm. So this video is going to take me about a week to shoot. I am on my way over to Asheville, North Carolina, going over to the Timber Framing Learning Center of Western North Carolina. Now, we introduced you to those folks, I guess probably on the last video, a video or two ago, where we took that load of timbers over, had to blow out on the trailer, all that kind of thing. Took the load of timbers over to the timber framing school that our buddy Dan runs over in, like I say, over in Asheville. So as part of that class, I'm gonna take the class. I'm going over to renew a little bit of education, kind of learn, go back and relearn some of the principles of timber framing. Dan's got a group of students coming in this week. They're going to help us do some work on that frame, get some tenons and some mortises cut and some braces and some rafters and floor joists. I don't know what all we're going to get done, but hang out with us for a little bit. Like I say, I'm going to shoot this video over the course of a week, so we'll probably show a little bit of action, maybe a little bit of education. We'll talk about Dan and the school and what all they do, but got a lot of stuff going on, so hang out with us for a little bit. Let's get a little work done on this store build. So we've made it up here. You know, we've been doing a couple of these videos in a series now on this timber frame shop build or store building that we're doing. And so today's the first day of class. So Dan and I just want to talk a little bit about the class and how all this works and what we're doing, and you know, just sort of the process and some of the services and things that Dan does. Just kind of give you all a little orientation on how this whole thing works. So for those of you that this is maybe the first one of these that you've seen, we're working on building a 16 by 20 timber frame store on the farm so that when customers come out, you know, they've got a little bit more of a formal retail experience instead of buying stuff out of the trailer or out of the big walk-in freezer. And Son and I had looked at a lot of these, y'all got them in your neighborhoods, these little roadside sheds, you know, people throw them up and you know, just bring them in and set them up and then finish the inside. And there's nothing wrong with that, but for our property, we felt like we wanted something a little bit nicer. And a few years ago, when did we do Chris's stuff?
I think that was either 2020 or 2021.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I met Dan. I took this class before, and to learn how to do this just because I had a general interest. And that was where I met Dan. And then last winter, I decided to build a set of timber frame sawhorses and realized I'd forgot everything that I'd learned. So it was time for a refresher, and about that same time, Son and I decided, well, let's do this on farm store. And so that's when I reached out to Dan, and this whole thing kind of came together. So talk a little bit about the school and how the school piece works.
Yeah. So my business is Quarry View Woodworks, and the school we call is the Timber Frame Learning Center of Western North Carolina. And so the way the school works, we have classes or 6-day workshops about one every other month, so 6 a year. And what that does is allows for some smaller class sizes and some individual one-on-one attention. And so it's hard to have a workshop without a project.
Yeah.
So we have a standard 12 by 16 frame that has 3 vents, roof, and a floor system that teaches you to cut every joint that you would need to basically cut any size building.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's, mortises and tenons and braces and floor joists and rafters. And so that's kind of our go-to project. But what I like to do, it's so, things like this are so much better to do because it's going to somebody who's going to really use it.
Yeah.
And so
when there's some practicality behind it, you know where it's going, what's going to happen with it, instead of just building a cabin that somebody may buy.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. And so in this situation, we designed the frame, and since Chuck's purchased the frame, he gets to come take the class for free. And then and the way that this works is basically this workshop is a gathering of folks who are paying me to teach them how to do timber framing, but they're helping you with your cabin.
Right. Yeah.
So
win-win for everybody.
Win-win for everybody. Exactly. So the school benefits by having students to teach and having a good project to use.
Yeah.
And then you benefit because you get well, I think in this case you've got 5 folks in there that are taking this, getting ready to take this workshop, and they're going to help you cut your frame.
Yeah.
And so the more frame we get done, and so we've worked out a price, and I do that per joint, so that so basically everything that gets done in the workshop gets directly deducted off the price of what we agreed on. And so that way, if there's only 3 students, we're still going to have the workshop. It's going to be very nice and cozy.
A lot of one-on-one instruction.
A lot of one-on-one instruction.
A lot of personal attention. Yeah.
But 3 folks might not get as much done as, say, 10 folks.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that leaves an awful lot afterwards for me to finish.
Yeah.
Or if you could also pack up your frame and take it home when we're done, and you finish it on your own. But in this case, you're going to pay me to help finish after. Yeah. And so that per joint price is that kind of gives me a good starting place of where to start from, and then all the students' work gets completely deducted from that, and so that I do get compensated for the work I do after the school.
Yeah.
But
and so if somebody's got an idea of a project on their farm, they want a hay barn or something. So they could come to you and you could help design that and
Absolutely.
then put that into the class. Students could
Absolutely.
help cut that frame.
Absolutely, and got the sawmill. I can mill the packages. Generally, for that 12 by 16 frame, I mill all the lumber for that.
So you could do a turnkey deal. Somebody call you up and say, "Hey, Dan, I need this thing, that thing, or the other." And
cut
the whole deal.
I could cut the whole deal, floors, siding, everything, if they wanted it.
Yeah.
Sure thing. But in your case, you milled your timbers.
Yep.
And so we're working with some of your timbers and then some of my timbers. And so
because I didn't have any 16-foot stock and was having trouble sourcing it. But anyway.
Yeah, it's hard to get 16-foot logs.
Yeah.
I'm running low now also.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it. The 6-day class. We teach square rule, and the focus of that is that you can use timber that comes right off this sawmill.
Yeah.
Green timbers that come right off this sawmill that are supposed to be 8 by 8s, but they may be 8 1/8 by 7 7/8. Who knows?
8-ish in my case.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you're gonna have 8-ish by 8-ish timbers.
Sort of square, in the neighborhood.
That's right. But the idea was
They did all have 4 sides.
They all did have 4 sides.
So
that was
whether
good.
or not they were parallel to each other, that was a little question on some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
but that's all right. It offered a great opportunity to teach how we deal with that.
Yeah.
And so square rule allows you to use those roughs on timbers and come out with the exact dimensions that we need at the end, instead of just having all your timbers are exactly the same size.
Right.
This allows you to buy from a local sawmill, and we can put the structure together in a way
Nice.
yours is 16 by 20. When we get done and we pull a tape measure, it needs to be 16 by 20, regardless of how big the timbers are,
Right. Yeah.
or how much off they are. I guess.
Nice.
Yeah. And so and like I said, having a meaningful project to do, having you here or the owner here taking the class, you get to interact. There have been situations like that where they didn't really necessarily want to be recognized, so I don't recognize them. So you could just be one of the participants if you wanted to, or you could choose to tell everybody about the project that's going on. But I don't want to say no project's too big, but we're not looking at building 5,000 square foot houses during this. But this 16 by 20 cabin, and as we discussed before we even did this, we're going to get probably 70 to 75% of your frame done before before the end of class. And in this case, there's some folks in there that have just they're working and they're getting ahead.
Yeah.
So the more work they do, the more it benefits you. And and then during the class, you're going to learn everything from looking at the plans and applying the rules, the square rule, to fabricating joinery. And we start with the less expensive ways, with things you might have around your garage, right? And then we go all the way up through the more expensive tools, the chain mortisers and the band saws and things like that.
Those really big bohem.
The great big
16-inch
16-inch saws. But we want every student to learn at their own pace and to do what's comfortable for them. And so we have students that come in and just do hand saws or just do hand tools. They don't want to do any power tools
because that's what they've got at home.
That's
they're a purist, maybe. That's what
that's right.
That's
They're
sort of their value set.
And some of the I try to travel all around to the guild projects and try to be a part of anywhere I can pick up more knowledge is always growing. And a lot of those projects now, there's an ending to it. At the end of the workshop, that frame needs to be done.
Yeah.
But that's not I've just never really liked that kind of setup for here.
Yeah.
I want.
That's a lot of pressure.
It really is. It really is. And I don't want people working quicker than their abilities allow. And
Mistakes
I
happen.
also don't want them to. I also don't want them to feel that pressure of having to be a certain way. Now, I mean, human nature, you'll see during this week, there'll be people in there, they'll be looking around and they'll try to compare how much they've got done to how much everybody else has got done. And then if it looks like they're a little bit behind, I always just try to remember, you can't be behind if you're working at your own pace.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to happen. And if that person doesn't finish their part, no problem. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We want this to be an experience. The lunches are going to be great.
That's right. Yeah, y'all provide lunch every day.
Yeah,
feed.
provide lunch every day. And
Yep.
my wife Becky cooks the lunches, and
Yep.
she takes great pride in that. And some people say that's the best part of the workshop. You come to eat lunch and then learn.
the timber frame as a sideline. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So. And then we'll go all the way through the joinery. You get an opportunity to cut every single joint in the frame. Now, as we fabricate, you'll get most students will at least get to do a post or a tie beam, and you'll fabricate that too all the way done. Then we give you opportunities just based on what you want to get out of the class to cut the rafter joints, to cut the floor joist, pockets, or the floor joists themselves. And so it's kind of a work at your own pace kind of thing. We get done, you get to try all these ways of doing things, the modern ways and the way they did it in the old times. And then on the last day, we'll do some fit up, where you get to see all your work go together.
Yep.
And then we raise a vent. And then that's where we get to take the picture at the end, where everybody's standing at the vent.
Good deal.
So, yeah.
So where can folks find you at? Where can they learn more about your business and what you guys do?
Absolutely. On my website is quarryviewwoodworks.com, and I'm on Facebook, Quarry View Woodworks, and I'm starting Instagram.
Nice.
I'm a little old.
I'm not much of an Instagram guy, but that's where the hip kids are at.
Yeah, I'm hearing that the feedback is that I need to be on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, but Quarry View Woodworks.
Yep.
There's no quarry here, but where I first started my business, I was overlooking a quarry.
Yeah.
So that was kind of an homage to that.
And then you got a few videos on YouTube.
I do have a couple videos on YouTube, and that's going to change because after talking to you, we're going to start adding some more things about what we do here at the school and the shop, and so that people can kind of get to know me a little bit better with watching what I do. So quarryviewwoodworks.com.
And so just a point of interest, your background?
I'm a firefighter. That background you look for? Yeah, I'm a retired firefighter. From the city of Asheville. Worked there for. So I started in Raleigh and then retired from Asheville after a total of about 27 and a half years.
So paramedics will not make fun of you for being a hose holder.
Oh, they will. I'm sure. they sure. Or a stretcher fetcher.
Stretcher fetcher.
Yeah. So. I've heard that a couple times in my day, but I had a tree business along the way and really enjoyed caring for trees and that kind of thing. And I thought, well, if I can afford a sawmill when I retire, then I'm going to do it. And I was fortunate enough to be able to find this one. Bought it from can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's retired with wood. Is his he makes the walnut chairs and everything. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
So bought it from him and kind of got interested in timber framing. Took the class took one of Jim Rogers' class with you, and then didn't quite 100% pick it up the first time. So I went back and took another one.
I understand.
Yep, and then
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I took a lot from that. I took a lot from trying to make sure my teaching style is such that when people leave here, they'll have a very, very, very good concept of using the rules of square rule to apply to a building of their own. And that's really, really my focus. And especially during this week, I'm going to really, really, really focus on making sure it's not just you're looking at the plans all the time.
Right.
You're going to get key dimensions off that plan and then set the plan aside and go lay out your timber based on the rules. And that's what this whole class is about. Yeah. And so
being able to leave and take home a skill that you can immediately put to work.
You can apply. And then of course I'm always available. I mean, I guess this is our 9th. I should have counted before we talked. 8th or 9th workshop, and I think we're hitting about 50 or 60 folks that we've come through, and there's 60 of the closest friends that a guy could have, long distance, I guess, sometimes. We've had people from as far away as Australia, New Zealand, Alaska, you know. So
just all over.
Yeah, so maybe at some point you can get a picture of that map in there. We've got the push push pins where everybody's from, so that might be, it's just kind of a little interesting stuff. So, but I get phone calls all the time. Hey, I want to do this project. How do I do it? Or I got to this point, and I can't remember what you said this was, and I'll be glad. I'll probably talk your ear off.
So ongoing customer service, and technical support.
Technical support, that's right. And you know, and I'm just beginning my design career. I mean, I've drawn stuff on SketchUp. I've designed the 12 by 16. I've designed your frame.
Yep.
You know, I know you purchased Jim Rogers' plans, but there's some things that you want to do a little differently.
Yep.
And so rather than try to teach a workshop and remember those changes, then I went ahead and just redesigned it, showed it to you, and you said, well, let's do this or let's do that, and that's how we ended up with your plans. And so, but you know, I share my shop with Stoll Timber Frames, and boy, my partner Hawken is a excellent designer. He works for Fire Tower Engineering, and so I would like to say that I could be a full one-stop shop. We could start with your design. If it's too big for me, I'll tell you, and we'll engage Hawken and get it engineered. We can take it all the way through to raising at that point.
So if somebody's got an idea,
reach out, and then
you guys can kind of figure out.
Yeah, that's it. Not all projects are good for the workshop. Because I'm trying to teach a period of square rule, kind of the original style, kind of Jack Sobin style, and Will Beamer style. You know, that's that era. And so there's some things about that, about some post-plate connections and post-tie connections that we kind of really need to stick to for this workshop. So if you've got something elaborate, like an octagon pergola or something like that, well, I might be able to help you that outside of the workshop. But if you've got something that's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, then talk to me. We can, you know, the workshop we did was for a customer, and he wanted help building his 26 by 30, and it's got a full upstairs. Oh wow! So, yeah, we didn't get near a lot done. It's a bigger project, but again, all the joinery in that frame
it's all the same.
It's all the same.
Whether
it's the
you're
same
doing
as the 12 by 16 or 8 by 10 chicken coop, or you know,
it's
anything.
all
It's all the same.
So, or if they want to learn. If you want to learn the skill.
Yes, if you want to learn the skill, please check it out. We got some early bird discounts, and you know, I tell you what, might as well throw it out there too. I mean, if somebody sees this video and said you got it from Sheridan Farms, and by gosh, we can talk about a little bit more discount after that too.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, maybe you know, maybe not quite 10%, but maybe 5%. Save you 50
or
$100 bucks.
Yeah, maybe cover a night or two in an Airbnb or room or something.
Yeah, that's right. Nice. So just have to just mention that, and then boom, I'll hook you up.
Sweet, good deal. Well, let's get to work.
All right.
Thank you, buddy. All right, y'all. Dan the other day got here in his flip-flops. All right, Dan, the other day we brought those timbers over and you were wearing those flip-flops. And we had a bunch of people that did not appreciate you walking around out here in the lumberyard with flip-flops on.
They are safety flip-flops.
Safe toe thongs is what they are. So I told him, I said, the reason Dan didn't have on proper shoes is Dan didn't have proper socks.
I didn't have proper socks.
So we brought Dan a pair of Camel City Mill socks.
That's awesome.
So now it's you've got real shoes today. Nice. So you can put those on. So those are made here in North Carolina, down in Winston-Salem, 100% USA merino wool.
Really?
So this is all we wear. Me and Sandra both. Keep your feet cool in the summer, warm in the winter. They wick sweat better than cotton or polyester. Wow. Those are going to be the best socks you've ever put on your feet. So.
Well, I can't wait. I'm sure I'm going to end up getting more of them for sure.
So I've got a coupon code. I'll give you a coupon code. So so we can save you 10%. So I'll post that in the description down below, and I'll make sure you got it before the day's over with.
That sounds good.
Enjoy those.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I've been gone for 3 days doing this class, and finally somebody has showed up to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
The QA is
the
here.
QA is here. So Sandra came over. Actually, she came over yesterday and spent the night last night in my outbuilding, Airbnb. So what do you?
Dirty old man invited me to his outbuilding for the night.
It was very G-rated though.
Yes, it was.
We were both asleep by what? Before it wasn't dark. It wasn't dark.
No, it wasn't dark. I was already asleep.
Yeah. So what do you think about this process and the building as a whole so far?
This is an awesome thing over here.
It's a little bit bigger than what we kind of thought it would end up being. So
this is an awesome thing.
Which is fine.
And these guys are doing a great job.
Yeah. So what do you think about my handiwork?
You're doing good.
I'm all right for a beginner.
I can see the progression of the first one to the latest.
Yeah.
The first cut to the latest cut.
It's gotten better.
Yeah, it's gotten better. Smoother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a great thing they got going on over here, and I don't know. You just got to see it to believe.
Yeah, it really is pretty impressive once you get over here and get into it.
The video doesn't do it justice of what's going on here.
So the building, like I said, 16 by 20 cabin. I think this is going to be a little bigger than what.
This is bigger than what we were.
Yeah. Well, you go to like I talked about, you go to these roadside building places that have got these little 10 by 12s, and it's like, oh, that would be a perfect size. Well, what if we make it just a little bit bigger?
A little bit bigger. This is more than a little bit bigger.
This is more than a little bit bigger. I mean, it's going to be a nice store building, and just doing it by hand and something. So, I mean, it's like I said, like we said on another video, the property really deserves something a little nicer than, and nothing at all against a prefab shed or anything like that. But the property really deserves something a little bit nicer. So I think this is going to turn out really good.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, and we're like, well, when do we start the house?
Oh Lord, this would be nice for a house.
Oh man,
but
this would be an incredible,
expensive,
incredibly expensive
thing to undertake. Yeah. But anyway, so like I say, Sandra came over just to kind of visit, see what's happening. She wanted to come to the class, but it's just so hard for both of us to be gone.
Yeah, right, especially in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
Middle of winter would be a little different. It'd be a little easier. Maybe sometime in the winter I can come over and take the class.
Yeah, we talked about that. Maybe she can come over and do a class by herself in the wintertime. And then I can come over to your...
Yeah, you can come over to my outbuilding.
To your outbuilding.
Dirty old woman. Invite you over there.
Yeah. So anyway, so you're going to head back?
I am.
So what have you been... So how's the farm?
While you've been gone, I've done 2 bushels of peaches.
You videoed some of this, didn't you?
Yeah. 3 dozen ears of corn. 2 gallons of blueberries.
28
quarts of green beans. And I'm going home to do 3 dozen more ears of corn.
Yep.
That we're getting from neighbor Beth.
Yep.
And I've sent a message to a lady for 2 bushels of October beans because this past weekend the deer got into our October beans. So we're not going to have any.
Basically wiped them out.
So they've gotten into them at least twice.
Yeah. And really
probably again while I've been
yeah,
gone.
they really eat the leaves off of them. And I noticed there were a few beans that were coming on some of the
Not
vines,
now.
but they're gone. They're gone now. Yeah.
So,
And tell them about the Blue Lake green beans. What you found?
so I found the package of bean seeds that we bought back in the spring, and they are Blue Lake pole beans on the package.
We picked up the wrong thing.
Picked up the wrong package.
And they are from White Coral, so it's
They
been
are.
a good quality bean. You know, we
Been a
talked
very good
about
bean.
White Coral versus Hoss a couple of videos ago, but they've been real good beans. And if we had realized they were pole beans, we probably wouldn't have planted them as thick as we did.
Right. But I'm kind of glad that's what we got. So I think what we're going to do is let some of them dry on the vine and save them for next spring.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Because they've worked out very well.
Yep. And let's see, Brittany's been helping.
Brittany spent the night last night.
So you could come over.
So I could come over.
Yep.
And she had a good night last night. And she's doing her regular thing this morning.
And then I'll be going home. I'll be home. I'm filming this on Thursday morning. I'll be coming home late tomorrow afternoon. The class goes through Saturday. We got marking on Saturday, and Dan and the guys are going to finish up the class, and they'll get all that stuff wrapped up and together. And sorry about the noise, but that's just the way it is.
Well, we've got market on Saturday, and also going to a retirement party in Durham for one of your coworkers.
Yep. So looking forward to that. Yep. And big shout out to Andy and Megan over at True Grit. They hit 100,000 subscribers yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Pretty big deal there. So, and I put a post on our community channel asking folks to go over there and subscribe. So if you did, thank you so much. Appreciate you supporting those folks. They're wonderful people.
They are.
And becoming real good friends of ours. So anyway, you're going home and leaving me in my storage shed behind. Hey, Lordy.
Yes, I am. We stopped at this little coffee shop this morning and ordered, and the little girl said, "Now, we put 4 shots in our coffee. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wish I had said no."
That's a lot of...
I'm really buzzing.
Kind of zippy.
I can feel it in my ears.
All right. Thank you for coming over. I got work to do. Get out of here.
I'm going home.
When we are working on a post, this is 2A, so I'm going to find bent 2. I have bent 2 right here. And then I'm going to find wall A. So wall A just happens to be right there. Then we think about what is it exactly that we're getting ready to work on. And so we're working on the tie beam mortise. So if you take a peek at page number 9 is the bent 2 view. Just if you'll follow along, we can get some information here that we need. And then also, if you want to kind of put a finger on 11 as well. So the bent view gives you the reference face. The wall view gives you the adjacent face for your timber. All right, so if we're looking at the tie beam mortise, it's a through mortise. So first of all, we have to identify the tie beam in the bent, and then also in the wall. So everybody on the same page there with the tie beam in the bent view is the part that ties the 2 walls together, right? Are we tracking there? That horizontal timber?
Which
right?
page is the bent?
9. Okay. Now, so I've been using this. Chuck, you okay if I use your Big Al? We want to make sure we get the plug for Jim Rogers and the Big Al for sure. So now, using this tool is a little bit easier for me to connect those dots. I could have just connected them with that, with my framing square, but the Big Al just makes everything so much easier. So now I know where those lines are. So now I can just go ahead and lay out that reduction. And that's going to be X'd out because we'll remove that.
How'd you get the top and the bottom of the mortise?
So the top of the mortise was from the drawing, 9'8". Mm-hmm. Now, And you remember our rule. What's our rule about joinery?
Shrink a half inch.
Shrink a half inch. So I found this top up part up here.
Okay.
Then I came down 7.5 inches.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And so now, because the tenon on the tie beam is 7.5 inches, it's going to fit right in there. Excuse me, it's going to fit right in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now,
And this was the reduction off the tie beam.
the tie beam's coming in.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, we'll just kind of go through that again, because we know we want from this side of this timber to the adjacent side of Derek's timber, we've got to have that to 16 feet. So in order to do that, we reduce this by half, so that's 7.5. Derek's going to reduce his to 7.5, which is 15 inches, right? And then we subtract 15 inches from that 16-foot outside to outside dimension, and that gives us our shoulder to shoulder for the tie beam.
All right, y'all, I just have got home. I talked to Sandra on the way in, and she's got a little bit of supper ready, so I'm ready to go get some of that. But appreciate Dan and all the folks over at the Timber Frame and Learning Center of Western North Carolina. We ended up, I don't know how much I ended up shooting today, but we got a lot done. We got all 3 of the vents done. We got most of the flooring system done. Well, I'll take that back. We got 1 tie beam left to do on a vent. We got most of the floor system done. Got a couple of rafters. Dan is going to send me a list of additional material that I need to cut here, and also Sandra and I will end up doing some more. I think we'll end up doing some more rafters, and we'll probably do the rafters for the building. We'll do the rafters for the porch. We'll probably end up doing the joists for the porch floor, and then we'll do the posts and the tie beams for the porch itself. I'm not 100% sure on all that, but we've got a lot of work left here to do. And then once we get everything cut, we'll have a raising day, and we'll see if we can't get that thing stood up. We've got a lot of work to do out where we're going to be putting it. I need to sell a chick brooder. So if you're close and you'd like to buy an 8x8 brooder, leave me a message, send me an email, chuck@sheridanparkfarms.com, and I'll talk to you about one of those brooders. But we decided to sell one of those. I'll probably put it on Marketplace too to get rid of it. We'll need to do our foundation. That's going to be concrete. It'll be concrete. We'll use form tubes, sonnet tubes. There'll be 12 of those. That'll be another video. We'll do that later on, where we'll dig our holes and we'll put our form tubes down the ground. We'll fill them full of concrete. We'll have a little bit of site prep that we'll need to do, and of course we'll have to get a laser, make sure all those are level. There's an exception to that. We'll show you what that is whenever it comes time to do it. Then once we get that thing raised, once we get it standing up, there's going to be a lot of stuff to do from there on out. We'll have to put a roof on it, doors, windows, siding, flooring in it. Dan and I spend a lot of time talking about how that's going to work out, and there'll be a ton of videos on all of that whenever we get around to all that. So this is just the beginning. There's going to be a lot of content on this. I hope you enjoy it. It's something different. It's something that we're doing here on the farm, and we've never, like I've said before, we don't make stuff up to shoot content out of. I mean, it's just what we're doing, and this is what we're doing. We're building this little building out here to have a store in, so folks can come up here and shop and buy beef, pork, and chicken, and maybe we can source some other local goodies and have you know, have more of a retail shopping experience for folks that wanna come up to the farm. So I'm gonna unload some tools out of the truck. I'm gonna go to the house, eat about a supper, and I'm gonna wash probably 2 or 3 pounds of sawdust off of me. I've got sawdust in places I didn't know you get sawdust, but anyway, like we always say, please keep us in your prayers. May God bless you and your families. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks.